Coming up on DITV, we'll tell you more about a nonprofit organization started by UI students.
And April means medical school applications. We tell you more about Iowa's pre-med track.
Thunderstorms, rain, some slightly warmer temperatures headed our way. Find out more in weather.
All that more coming up on this Friday morning edition of DITV.
Don't go anywhere, DITV starts right now.
Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Sydney Zatz.
And I'm Susanna Kloster. Thursday evening, a Muscatine man was arrested and charged with stealing money from a University of Iowa fraternity. 25-year-old Drew Rominger was allegedly stolen over $20,000 between 2016 and 2017 from the fraternity Alpha Chi Sigma. His charges could lead to over 10 years in prison.
After nearly 6 months of silence, student leaders are speaking out the Border Region's proposed tuition increase. For University of Iowa in-state undergraduate students, the tuition increases by 3.8%. For non-residents, the rate increases at 2.8%. For those who are graduate students and residents of the state of Iowa, they will see a 3.8% increase, while non-residents will see a 2% increase. For a more in-depth look on the issue, check out today's edition of the Daily Iowan, where Marissa Payne has more.
Yesterday, the plans for the new pedestrian mall improvements were unveiled to the public. The plans were adopted in 2014 by the Iowa City Council and aim to make downtown Iowa City more accessible for the future utility over the next 10 to 15 years. Major improvements include a welcoming entryway with a wayfinding kiosk, more seating and lighting, permanent canopies, a stage, and more public art. Construction is expected to begin later in 2018.
Students at the University of Iowa turned a friendship into a nonprofit organization. The organization hires students to help out other students on campus who have a disability. DITV's Alexis Tanzi met with the group's founders to find out the inspiration behind the organization.
Michael Penniman came to the University of Iowa for the same reason as every other student, to get a college education. But he had a unique living situation.
I relied solely on home care, and that failed me pretty quickly once I got up here.
Without in-home care, Michael would have had to drop out of school and return home. But his good friend Peter decided to start helping him out.
Realizing that his care wasn't as good as it could be, realizing that I was getting called over a lot more than I anticipated, and then I saw an opportunity to kind of work a shift for him and see what that was like.
Spooks, you want to move my straw?
Peter and his friends started to get paid for their work with Michael, which sparked an idea called Students Care. The nonprofit organization sets out to have students with disabilities here at the University of Iowa have a more normal college experience.
It's the college life. You're with college students. It's students helping other students. When we're done at 10 p.m., you're off the clock. Let's throw a movie in and hang like boys.
But just like Students Care changed Michael's life, it changed Peter's life too.
And I know a lot of us have had the time of our lives in college, and realizing that a lot of people want to have that same, great time but can't because of their disability. And if you can give them an opportunity to maybe improve, their college experience, that's been huge for me.
Reporting from Iowa City, Alexis Tanzi, DI.
Students Care is looking to expand its reach to other universities, including Iowa State and Kirkwood. Susanna, yesterday it was amazing. It was warm, but I hear we have some severe weather in the forecast.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because I got out and enjoyed the weather a lot yesterday. Let's toss it over to John in the weather studio to find out more.
Thanks, guys. Last Friday, we saw average temperatures in the mid-30s, and it stayed consistent with mid-30s temperatures, rain, and snow over last weekend and through Monday of this week. On Tuesday, however, we started to see a trend in warmer temperatures, with each consecutive day getting more warmer than the previous one. It even got up to 70 degrees yesterday, which is crazy warm compared to what we've been seeing since spring started. Let's see what the forecast is looking like today and see if this warm front sweeping over Iowa City will stay for good or leave just as quick as it came. This afternoon will bring a few scattered thunderstorms and rain with a high temperature of 70 degrees. Tonight, the temperature will drop down to 40 degrees with thunderstorms and rain. Let's take a look at our extended forecast. Tomorrow afternoon, expect more rain with a high temperature of 44 degrees and at night, a low temperature of 31 degrees. On a Sunday afternoon, the temperature will be in the mid-30s with snow showers and overnight low temperatures in the mid-20s. Partly cloudy skies on Monday with afternoon high temperatures in the lower 40s and at night, low temperatures in the mid-20s. Tuesday brings mostly sunny skies with afternoon highs in the mid-50s and overnight lows in the mid-40s. Finally, on Wednesday, expect partly cloudy skies with afternoon highs in the upper 40s and overnight lows in the mid-30s. I'll admit, this weekend is not looking the greatest weather-wise, but once we reach Monday, things are looking much better than what we have seen recently, so I'm thinking this might be a sign for consistent springtime weather in the near future. That's all I got. Guys, back to you.
It's a time of year when pre-med students across the country begin applying for medical school. Here at the University of Iowa, the path for medical school is a bit different than other institutions, but the requirements are the same. DITV News reporter Ethan Gutstein goes into a more depth look about the program.
While not a specific major, the University of Iowa has a pre-med track for students who wish to attend medical school. In other words, there is no pre-med degree. So students choose to major in a scientific or medical discipline, such as chemistry, biology, or biomedical engineering, with the goal of making their medical school applications more enticing. Even if a student knows which part of medicine they wish to pursue, they still have to take at least 2 semesters of several mandatory classes.
Is their weed out classes. So people who aren't really completely dedicated to the medical field, they don't like those classes, they quit, those are really people that you don't want as a doctor to begin with.
The Kaplan Test Prep compiled data from the 2015 med school applications. A statistic that stands out is only 39.3% of applicants that year successfully got into medical school, which means that just under 2 out of 3 applicants did not get accepted. Other requirements for students in the pre-med track include volunteer work, at least a 3.7 GPA, undergraduate research, among others. While many students do drop out of the pre-med track classes with the level of stress and schoolwork being too much, one UI student feels that these classes need to be difficult.
People who can do well in such a hard undergrad, they know they're going to do well in med school who aren't just going to quit halfway through. So, I mean, yes, it's very hard, harder than it should. I guess harder than most people think it should be, but it's not without a reason.
Reporting here from the University of Iowa, Ethan Gutstein, DITV News.
Each Friday, we here at DITV are proud to bring in the ICAC Animal of the Week. This is reserved for that one special animal at the Animal Caring Adoption Center who is ready to meet their new family.
This week brought in a pooch with a big personality, Arrow. Arrow is a healer with a big heart and super smarts. There's no reason to teach his old dog new tricks. Arrow is proficient when it comes to performing commands.
Arrow is super motivated and will work for food or treats. That being said, the ICAC recognizes that the dog needs to go on a diet, and Arrow is already fixed.
Arrow is looking for a home that will give him all the attention and would be happiest with children over 8.
For more information on Arrow and all of the other pets for adoption, visit the ICAC website. Call them at their phone number or stop by to find your family's next best friend.
Well, Sydney, it's finally spring and it's feeling like baseball season, and our baseball team is traveling to Nebraska this week.
That's right, Susanna. Hopefully they see some warmer weather than what we'll be expecting. But to tell us more, we have Mary-Kate Herring and Zach Mackey with our baseball pregame show.
Thanks, guys. Welcome into our Iowa baseball pregame show. Once again, I'm Mary-Kate Herring, and with me is the voice of Hawkeye baseball, Zach Mackey. Zach, we recently saw some decently warm weather during that midweek game on Wednesday, and now we're back to the cold, especially coming up to this series playing against Nebraska.
It's unfortunate we're going to 60-degree temperature, which is nice, but yet sometimes in this springtime you're going to see even something hotter, and now we're going back to that cold, like you said. And it's so different to have to play baseball in that 30-degree weather whenever you're trying to keep the guys warm out there, or whenever you're playing in the heat like you hopefully are at the end of the season.
Well, the Hawks, like we just said, finally got a little bit of that warm weather as they took on Coe College on Wednesday night and completely dominated. At the end of the first, Iowa was up 8-0. They came ready to play, looked really good before heading into another important weekend against Nebraska.
Well, like you said, it's so important to jump out of the gates. It seemed like that. Make sure that you know there's a difference between the two, and Iowa did. They jumped out of the gates, got some early runs, and like they've done down the past now, they threw a whole bunch of arms out during that midweek, got a whole bunch of guys experience, but also held Coe College just to 1 run, which is good when you're where you're breaking it up. It's hard to get into a rhythm, and Lorenzo had a tremendous game.
Well, like you just said, what a game out of him on Wednesday night. He hit the cycle, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, and tied the school record with 5 hits. But even in the last couple of weeks, just on the field, he has come such a long way and has been making less errors. And then he had that unbelievable play that on Saturday against Ohio State that made SportsCenter's top 10.
Well, we knew that Lorenzo was going to be a really good player just coming in from his recruiting class, and yet he had too many errors, like you said, early on to the season. He's cut those down and shown that really he's been a really good defender on the other side. He's a plus defender. He's got everything it takes, a big league type arm over there, and yet he's been able to make some diving catches, like you said, and then the bat has never wavered. He's always been able to hit, and now it's really coming into fruition after the day like he had on Wednesday.
Well, here's what Coach Heller had to say on his player of the game from Wednesday night.
Man, he's been picking us up big. The last 3 weeks he's been swinging the bat really, really well, driving in big runs in pretty much every game. Was big in the Illinois series, was big in the Ohio State series, and tonight, I mean, his swing looked great. He's dialed in right now. Every ball that he hit was right on the nose, and to witness that, no matter what the circumstance, is pretty special. You don't see that very often. With the score the way it was, a bunt would have been unwritten rule. It wouldn't have been right. And I seen Lorenzo look at the third baseman, and he was playing about 20 feet behind the bag, and I'm like, oh, guys, don't bunt, And then I heard one of the co-players go, if it was me, I would bunt right now. And then he got the hit. That's special. It's really rare. I mean, cycles are, I think, more rare than no-hitters. So.
Well, now the Hawks head to Nebraska today for a 3-game series. 2 of those games are happening today as they are scheduled for a doubleheader due to, the weather. The Cornhuskers are currently sitting at 15-16, and although they did win their midweek game, they have lost their last 3 series to Minnesota, Michigan State, and Ohio State. Iowa's coming off of 2 huge Big Ten series wins and a big midweek game win. Are you thinking we will continue to see this Iowa team this weekend and then even towards the end of the season?
Well, let's hope so. This is kind of that midway point.
Yeah.
We're 30 games in now. What's going to happen to this second half of the season? Nebraska, though, they're a hungry team because, like you said, they're below 500 right now. They're coming off where they won the regular season Big Ten title. They had a tremendous year last year, and now they're below 500 overall. They've really dropped to the Big Ten. That series against Michigan State, the Spartans took all 3, and Michigan State was at the bottom of the conference right now. So Nebraska's coming off where they've lost 7 of their last 11 now. They're a team that always is going to play better at home. It's a hostile environment. Every time you go to Lincoln, they'll have 5,000-6,000 fans in there, and yet it's going to be an opportunity again where Coach Heller's team's going to have to step up.
Well, here's what Coach Heller had to say on continuing their strong play into this weekend.
We jumped on them early, which enabled me to play a lot of guys and get everybody in the game. We got the starters out fairly quick, which was great. They got 2 or 3 at-bats. They were out in the 4th or 5th inning. Everybody got to play. So we couldn't have drew it up any better. The only negative tonight was that we were pretty sloppy on defense. 2 errors in the first inning and then another one later on. But anyway, overall, I was just really happy with how things went tonight.
Well, that's it for us in the sports studio. First pitch today is at 2 p.m. with the second game planning to start around 6 p.m. Zach, have a great time in Nebraska.
Will do. Come back on Monday for all of your highlights from the weekend. Guys, let's send it back over to you.
Thanks, guys. That's a wrap on this Friday morning edition of DITV.
Be sure to head over to dailyiowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday.
If that is enough of the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check our print edition of the news on Stands Now. Also, don't forget about our weekly Discover Snapchat page every Friday.
And to start off your weekend, we have more of Arrow. Lucky for us. DITV, I'm Susanna Kloster.
And I'm Sunny Zatz. Have a good day. We'll see you back here next week, same time and same place.